What's up, y'all? Welcome back to a very special edition of Therapeutic Talks. We're on the road. We in Vegas right now. You can't really see it because, the lighting ain't work. But we got a very special guest. How about you going to introduce yourself?
Hey, y'all. I'm Jean B.A. Edmond. I am the host of Bedtime Talks with Jean, and it'll be linked below in the description.
Yes, sir. It's going to be in the description of this video. And today we're talking about being ready for something, receiving something and being ready for it. And a lot of times in relationships, we kind of wish that we have somebody, or we wish that a certain situation in the relationship, works out. And when it comes our way, we kind of either self-sabotage, or it just isn't what we expected it to be, and we're not prepared for it.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to start with the show is asking you, what was a situation where you were ready and, well, you felt like you were ready for something, and then when it actually was presented to you and it came to you, you were like, okay, no, not really?
Honestly, I think like my last serious relationship, because being a young adult, I feel like we tend to think that we really want to have that significant other, whether it's through social media or whatever the case may be. We feel like we can't be alone. Like that single season is frowned upon almost. So that loneliness mixed with what, friends and relationship stuff like that, I'm thinking, oh, I need to be in one. So when I finally, met my ex, I was like, okay, you have that honeymoon phase, right?
Yeah,
Everything's all peaches and cream. Everything is nice. And then you realize like, dang, I actually like, it's not just about me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really thought I was like ready to enjoy that love. At least that's what I thought it was at the time.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, I gotta be nurturing in a way. I have to be considerate of his feelings. I have to be, just because I'm having a bad mood doesn't mean that like that discredits the bad mood that he may have. Or like, say if he's going through a lot and everything is cool with me, like I have to be cognizant of that. And sometimes when you're immature, which I'll be honest, I was immature, thinking that like,
multiple, all the time.
Exactly. And I was just thinking that like, kind of like the world revolved around me, that like he was to cater to me all the time. And that was further from the truth.
Okay. So has there ever been a point where when you got the relationship, you felt like kind of like you were being like, not you were being panicked, but like you were panicking in a way because you finally got it?
I would say yes, because when things got more serious and we made things official and he would like travel to come and see me or whatever the case may be, I felt like, oh, like this sense of urgency that I had to be a good girlfriend and not necessarily knowing what that meant. Like I knew how to be a good friend, but like, men are different, obviously. Yeah. So it's just like, dang, I didn't know how to necessarily like be there for him. And especially, sometimes like men tend to not express themselves, I may have not made him feel safe enough to express things to me. So when we would get into arguments and stuff, I'm sensitive. So I'd be a little emotional sometimes. So I'm over here crying because he's not like, talking to me. And then I just kind of felt like, okay, I'm not good enough, or it's just like, this isn't working. I'm doing everything that I could be doing, but really like it's a relationship is not, you never stop working towards it.
Yeah.
So there's like a constant thing of like, okay, I have to work on my communication. He has to work on his communication. Now I'm keeping it beamy. I'm not gonna make it seem like he was the best man in the world, but like I had, he had to work on things as much as I had to work on things. But I definitely had a sense of discomfort. I wouldn't say necessarily like panic, because also during that honeymoon phase, you think that like y'all gonna be forever.
Yeah.
So I didn't necessarily think that it would have came to an end, but I was just like, okay, what can I do to fix this? But clearly it ain't work out. So we bless God.
Yeah, nah, for sure. We do, bless God.
Yeah.
I know I've had times where like, my communication wasn't good, or I'm trying to like evolve as a partner and like kind of evolve as a boyfriend and, doing this and that. And I still fall short. Obviously, sometimes, got to do better. Got to be more careful,
Yeah.
I just try to be, better and kind of constantly evolve. So what does like evolution look like for you in terms of getting better as a partner?
Honestly, it took for me to remove myself from that situation to do some more soul searching. Yeah. And honestly, me being a Christian girly, I was like, well, God kind of had to like check me. and show me the dirt that was within me, because that immaturity showed me that, oh, I'm not doing nothing wrong. It's all him.
Yeah.
But through, through time and prayer and fasting, God was showing me that, like, no, you're immature about certain things, or no, you're a little insensitive for some men sometimes. And I didn't know, what that looked like, because the way I was raised, men, they just seem so like rough all the time, but really they just show their sensitivity in different ways.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to navigate that and be, a safe space for like my future partner or whatever the case may be. So I feel like time alone, I was so I was rushing so hard to get into a relationship, but I needed that single season to understand more of myself and how I could be a better partner for the one that is for me.
Okay.
So.
Definitely. When you're going through like a season of like, progression and, like constantly trying to build yourself back up or just trying to be a better version of yourself, it is a real adjustment period. And it's like really hard to get there sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I know for me personally, like I said, communication hasn't always been the best. I have to grow into that. And it took a period, like sometimes you go back into your old habits and like you have to break out of it and it's hard to like stop it. Uh have you ever caught yourself falling back into your old habits while in a relationship? And then like, how did you catch yourself?
Um, I would say I usually catch myself when I feel like I'm getting too worked up, I'm getting too irritable, and I'm getting the ick. Cause sometimes like, yeah, we could laugh it off, be like, oh, he did something, he gave me the ick. But really you had to, like, not to be so like spiritual or whatever the case may be, but sometimes you really have to pay attention to why you're feeling a certain way. So like if I'm talking to a guy and I feel like he's not communicating with me, then I feel like, oh, I need to shut down. I can't be vulnerable anymore. But really, I have to pay attention to why I feel like I can't be vulnerable anymore. It's not just because he's not communicating. It's because past issues, childhood trauma, whatever the case may be, old prior relationships, I didn't feel like I could be vulnerable and share, intimate details. Yeah. And I just feel like, sorry, I don't know what I feel like. I lost it.
No, you're good. You're good. You mentioned the egg. I got it.
Okay.
What's the egg? What's the egg?
Okay. For me, it's not necessarily just times when like a man is being like corny. Mm-hmm. It could be like, okay, so a recent example. Okay. It could be like someone. Okay, this may like totally change the trajectory of the show.
We listening.
Okay. So like the whole like Diddy and Cassie situation. And you follow me.
I'm listening.
So like and DDG and Halle, all of this stuff. Yeah. And sometimes people may make commentary. We all make commentary on that type of stuff.
Yeah, like, people is
literally. And it's like at the end of the day, we're not in a relationship. So sometimes what gives me the ick is when grown men comment and they kind of like may take the side of like Diddy or DDG. Yeah. Well, the DDG situation is kind of different. Like,
taking Diddy's side is a bit,
it's
kind of crazy. But
exactly.
Go ahead.
Like we still may not have all the details, but I still think that there's so much information that we don't know. Mm-hmm. And like from my experience, like I have been in some like abusive situations. So like it's sensitive to me. So when I hear like some men like talk about these things, I get the ick. Or so like I want to like, okay, you're clearly immature. You don't understand. I can never understand what it's like to be a man. Yeah. But I can understand that like, okay, you're a black man in America. I see what's on the news. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I could empathize and be like, okay, that's probably freaking hard to do that. So you know what I'm saying? Just, the expectation, all this stuff. And I just feel like sometimes maybe because men just have like whatever they got going on, they can't see the other perspective. Mm-hmm. And maybe because it's because of prior hurt of other women. Yeah. So they just kind of be on like this hate train of like, well, no, Cassie should have did this. She should have did that. She should have left. All this stuff. But I'm like, it's not that easy. When you're in, messed up situations, it's not that easy.
Yeah, I mean, everybody got an opinion on a situation that they've never been in, unfortunately. Yeah. So do you feel like, in a way, men, 'cause I can definitely understand what you're saying. Like, sometimes, certain opinions is kind of like, I don't know, maybe we should keep that one, in the drafts, like not really come out with it. Do you feel like, as men, we kind of have a harder time understanding and
type.
Yeah. Feeling where y'all are coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think it's on both sides. I think we all have a hard time understanding where the other person is coming from because, like, people we tend to focus on self so much.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially in our generation, I feel like, you know, self-care has been turned into like something kind of like evil in a way to where it's like, yes, it's important to, you know, worry about yourself and remove people who are not supposed to be in your life. But I feel like we kind of like weaponize it to where it's like we have a short fuse. So it's like, if you do the smallest thing, oh, you're blocked. You do the smallest thing, you're canceled. And it's like, we're not able to see the multifaceted of just the human race in general.
Yeah.
Like, we're childhood trauma, different things. Like, there's different things that shape us to be who we are today.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's hard for us to look, especially the opposite sex too. Like, it's hard for us to realize that because we're so worried about our own trauma. Like, oh, Black women have, you know, been through X, Y, Z, A, B, C.
Yeah.
But it's like Black men have been through things as well.
Yeah, we all been through something.
Exactly. And it's just like, we don't have enough conversations about like, we've been through stuff together. How do we go about it? It's always, well, you did this, you did that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of the issue that we kind of have. But
you're right. It's so much pointing the finger. It's getting to a point where it's dividing us a little bit too much. You know, we shouldn't be divided at all. Yeah. But it's always going to be some type of line between men and women, especially Black men and Black women. It's always going to be some type of line there. And it makes it so much harder for us to be able to come together when we're either constantly attacking each other, bashing each other. And a lot of times it all stems from online. Literally. A lot of it comes from online. Us talking about, oh man, Black women shouldn't do this, Black men shouldn't do this, Black men are sassy, Black women have attitude or whatever it may be. I feel you. Like, we all have our moments of just being human, and like people kind of like look at it as like, oh, you shouldn't do this, but like we all have that, you know, we all have that in us. What do you feel? Because I ain't gonna lie, this conversation took on a different side. And I'm sorry. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. So we're gonna ride the wave. So how do you feel like we can come to a better understanding of each other?
I think just listening. Okay. So like, for in my case, right, I just started a new job and there's some Black men there that live a life that I haven't experienced, right? So I, you know, I'm not from the city. I'm, you know, not part of rough parts, but it's just like they have so much that they've seen, that they go through. And it's just like, if you just be quiet and give them the time, they just pour out. And I feel like through that, those different experiences, not just with the people at my job, but just in everyday life. You ever have an experience where you're somewhere public and then a stranger just starts pouring their life out to you?
In the gym, like stuff like crazy. Yeah.
And I just feel like if we just allow people to be heard, then it gives us an experience, like a frame of reference when another situation happens. So like before, like I don't have to be Cassie or like a Cassie to understand how that may have impacted her life.
Yeah.
And how that may have been hard for her to leave. I don't have to be a Diddy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. To understand that something messed up happened in his life for him to do the stuff that he's doing.
For sure.
That is not giving anyone a pass.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. But you know we're digging a little bit deeper.
Yeah, because it's like, I think it was also like his mother was like a lady pimp or something like that. So it's like he was probably exposed to a lot of stuff. And it's just like, it just goes so much deeper. And I feel like as a society, we focus so much on the surface level that we're not able to look past, you know, the deeper root.
Yeah.
And like, as a believer in Christ, I feel like that's what helps me to do that.
Yeah.
I know like not all Christians are viewed as, you know, in a positive light, especially nowadays. But to me, that's what helps me to listen, because it's like, I know what it's like to not feel heard and how detrimental that can be to my own mental health.
For sure.
So if I can create a space or allow people to talk to me, I'm gonna let that happen. And I feel like I'm able to witness things that I would have never knew in my own frame of reference because of the way I was raised. And I feel like if we all like work on trying to do that, then like we could make a difference in this world. I feel like we should not focus on all the traumatic things that are happening in this world and focus on like we can make a difference. Like, don't think about the weight of this world, but the fact that you do have power. Your voice is power. You know what I'm saying? Just being loving is power. And it's like we don't give enough credit to that.
Yeah.
So not to get all preachy.
You do your thing. No, for sure. You sit down, so we might as well talk about it.
Right.
Okay, so going, heading, off the rails and everything like that, we had a very good conversation. I really enjoyed the way things went. This is not the way I asked for the turn, but I love the turn we took. I love the turn we took because we hit on some stuff that I really feel like is important. So to close off the show, what's something that you would leave? Like, what's some therapeutic words that you would leave with the audience at home about the topic of us coming together and us, not being as divided anymore?
Well, to tie it all together, I feel like that moment of how you can be impactful, you're never going to be ready for it. Amen. So you just have to just allow yourself to be welcoming to different personalities, to different people, different walks of life. I know, like, I'm usually around Black people, but sometimes if you just hear, a white person talk or someone from another ethnicity, it could change your whole frame of reference. So I just really implore all of you to just not wait to that perfect moment to make change and just jump right in and just be a listening ear to somebody, because I know me, if there was more people who would listen to me, I would feel a lot better sometimes. So that would be my advice. Just listen. I feel like we focus so much on being heard, but it's like before we can be heard, maybe we need to listen. I don't know. I feel like it's a different like kind of take on it.
I mean, I think that's facts. I was told that you have 2 ears, 1 mouth, so you should listen twice as much as you should talk.
I know that's right.
And people don't apply that at all. Like you have a hard time finding people that apply that to their day-to-day life. But I feel like that would make things a lot more easier if we do such. Thank you for sitting down. Thank you for coming to Vegas with us. We appreciate it. We love it. No, but we love it though. We love the energy.
Yeah.
We appreciate y'all for coming to sit down with us, and we're gonna see y'all next week on Therapeutic Talks.
Taking out my medicine. With all of these raps, I'm a reverend. So everything I say is heaven sent. Don't come back around.